make sure everything is set up properly here. It looks a little slanted. Make sure I'm nothing in my eyes. And that's good. It's good. Well, hello to everyone. Grand rising, grand afternoon, grand evening, whenever it is you're watching this. My name is Jazziel. I haven't done one of those intros in a while, but it's a boo. For those that know, I just washed my hair today. You can see all these cute little tight curls on the inside where my crown is. Yeah, my hair is almost dry, but I'm going to be sharing some of my poetry. I spent what I would say probably a little bit too much time scrolling on my For You page on TikTok, and a lot of things are coming to the surface right now. So yeah, it's not a good place to be. Just like scrolling on for hours because of all the connections being made, but you ask, you shall receive. So this is a way for me to redirect my energy at this time, and it is 10:35, so I'm gonna try not to talk too loudly. I have my family home, so we're all gonna be winding down pretty soon here. But this is my poetry from August and September, and I'm not gonna really be paying attention to the chat as well. I mentioned that in every live, but I also don't have my glasses on, so I could read this. And just so the audio can be like focused on what I'm saying. I mean, hello in the chat. You know, I'll say hi if people are coming in, but like I'm just gonna be reading from my notebook basically. So this is August 4th. I don't know if it picks up the date or not, but this is basically my open mic right now, right here. So, hello if you are new. Again, headset boo. My name is Jazziel, and this is my original poetry. So, I'm being extremely vulnerable. And hello to everyone joining in the chat. Thank you for joining. There's 17 people in here, and just as I finished that sentence, there became 10 people in here. So, I'm not even going to focus on chat again. But this is something that I want to do to share my mind, to share my voice, and to really focus my energy and intention on where I want to go, which is being an artist. I want to be an artist. I want to be a healer. I want to be someone who other people can look to or listen to and really feel stirred in their soul. So yeah, that's my intention. Some of these don't have a title. I would just write them at night to get the energy out, to like, you know, transmute negative energy or people talking about me or situations, not situations. Well, yeah, situations that were out of my control, so to speak. Hello to everyone joining. So I'm going to be reading this poetry. This is again from August 4th, and it doesn't have a title, but I think only one or two of them have a title, to be fair, so yeah. So again, this is my poetry, so I would be very upset if someone takes this and runs with it and slaps their name on it. Not that I want to put that out there into the ethers, but yeah. So here goes nothing. I guess people are talking to themselves in the chat. That I haven't heard of that name before. But anyway, so here it goes. I don't believe in Western medicine. Be silent and observe again. Do you pay attention to what was said or just assume from what's in your head? If you don't watch your mind, your body may pay the price. Don't bet against death. Don't roll the dice. Command your life and find your peace. Death and decay will then finally cease. 3 sides of the truth, one way to see. Use your third eye or wait and see. So that was the first poem. And again, it doesn't have a title, but it is something that I really, I was passionate about going on live in the beginning of August as well. And it was when I was talking about my personal training, knowledge with biomechanics and how to ground yourself and how to release emotions from your fascia and just pain. And then with some of the life coaching and emotional intelligence skills that I had learned, I was sharing about that as well. And then, just teaching about spiritual knowledge, the connection with nature, the spirit within you, God within you, creator within you, source, whatever you want to call it. And it was like connecting all of those things. So that was kind of the background of the poem, basically. So yeah. And then this was on August 15th. So, more than a week later, but all of this talking and like connecting things cleared up room for me to emotionally process things myself and, obviously practicing what I preach. And sometimes you're not really ready to let go of something until you release it physically, and then mentally it happens, or it's like something spiritually that you needed to release, but you didn't tap into it until you grounded your body, which grounds your mind, which opens up the channeling to happen. So, again, this was on August 15th, there, and I wrote this in pencil and in cursive, so I don't know how clear that's going to show up on video until I watch this live back, realistically. So it says, well, let me just also preface this isn't about one specific person, but again, it's like that emotional purging type of thing. That just needed to happen. There's a lot of events that you could study astrologically, right? But there's a lot of shifts in energy this year specifically, but more so felt collectively from the summer to the fall now. So yeah, like I said, this is not about one person. This is kind of just a wave of energy pushing through me. So yeah. I'm a slut and a gold digger and a hoe, yet I don't like you. Go figure. I don't live life with regrets, no hexing, cursing, or weighted bets. You clown me, I cut loose. The universe wields the blade, removal was the truce. There are no more marks or letter A. The scar you left was enough to have me say, my holiness is not defiled by my free nature. In the next life, there is no bodily autonomy erasure. You want to look at my body, yet look past my heart. Can't describe that as Cupid's bow if it felt like a dart. Expecting me to kneel to you is purely a closed third eye and heart untrue. You're not used to someone with a big aura, I see. Pay me attention, buy me some time. That's my love thee. there you go. There you have it. Again, it's not about one person, but it definitely was inspired after thinking and reminiscing about a specific person, and then it, again, with that wave of energy, that energy purging, it kind of made me think about all of the relationships and people that, would write social media posts or stories or songs or whatever about me, but they would never specifically say me. So, yeah, I notice a lot of things, but I don't comment on them or call them out as much as I would like to. Sometimes I believe things are better left unsaid, and sometimes things are better just said in person instead of online. But again, I'm trying to let that energy out and purge more of my mind so that I have room for more healing, to be more in alignment and in a higher vibration. And if you'd like to know more about that, please watch my other lives. I talk extensively about frequencies and nature and walking in parks and stuff. So yes. And then this was September 6th, and there's a little note there that says, I finished writing this at 111. So this was like part of me that felt like one of my spirit guides was also channeling through me as I wrote this. But 111 is an angel number for those who don't know, and it is like you're in alignment, you're manifesting, what you're thinking about is right, or your intuition is on point, or you're manifesting at a rapid rate. Watch what you're thinking about, like something along those lines, but it's depending on whenever you see that number. That's what all angel numbers are, really. It's dependent on when you see that number and what you were, like what your train of thought was about. And it kind of comes into like confirm in your spirit. So the fact that I finished writing this at 111 was kind of like, yeah, you've been thinking about it for a lot, and writing about it was the thing to help you get it out of your system or clear from your system in a way. So this doesn't have a title. I might put it as 111. Should be funny, but yeah. So this is from September 6th. I'm trying to change my attitude, but it's the way you're talking to me and the magnitude. There's fear behind your voice. It makes the room smaller, so hiding isn't a choice. You judge me after you listen, but selective hearing only means something is missing. I can sometimes rely on you, and other times it's up to me to do. I state my concerns and make you aware, yet my life doesn't change much, and I try to shake off despair. How am I supposed to envision a brighter future now? I worry about money because you taught me how. Life isn't meant to feel so out of reach. Executive function can be difficult for each. What's in your mind? What voices are you listening to in your head? Are you still thinking about our argument and what was said? I can see you keep your distance, yet still try to connect. Our relationship isn't one-sided, but it still makes me feel like a reject. Sometimes we're on the same page, other times I don't know how to gauge. I switched personalities because you changed my mind. A moment of reflection within, and I found you unkind. A tough pill to swallow, then I kicked you out. You never give me solutions, only doubt. From the criticism to manipulation of the truth, you stop respecting me after my youth. Have I made mistakes, acted on emotions, hurt others before? Yes. I'll admit I have felt insecure. But just like I let you in, had to kick you out to start over again. Sometimes I wonder what I was even thinking too. But when your body keeps the score, there's only one thing to do. I had to exercise, refortifying my mind, body, and spirit. I'm reparenting myself, not co-parenting. So I don't want to hear it. As unclear as you may want me to think, now I confidently know in order for me to evolve, I must now let you go. No more self-sabotaging or going in circles in a daze. I burned the ties, setting anxiety ablaze. And what I was thinking about when I was writing it was the spirit of anxiety, but it was about my parents giving me that spirit of anxiety. And then I finished writing it at 111 in the morning. And I was like, yeah, that was confirmation. And honestly, like when I read these back, it's like, wow, that was so profound. I definitely, successfully transmuted that energy. And normally when I stay up late and I can't go to sleep because I've stopped smoking or doing any edibles or stuff like that. I used to go for walks around the neighborhood, but when I don't want to go outside or don't feel like taking a walk late at night because this area is a little strange. Like I literally got my bike stolen today, and I watched the ring camera footage from my neighbor, showing someone going from behind the house, taking a bike, going back behind the house. So there's nothing for me to even go off of, or like hypothetically, if I were to make a police report about a bike being stolen. So yeah, no walking at night. I have other stories, but let me just stick to the poetry here. Because when I would stay up late at night, the only thing that would help me like release the emotions or like transmute that energy was writing poetry or writing music, like basically poetry with the beat behind it, a song, music. So that's my real passion. And the thing that I do so easily and the most clear I channel from my higher self is when I'm writing poetry. Just to let you know, because like I'll get up here and go live and talk about frequency, mind, body, and spirit all day. It's like I love speaking about things I'm passionate about. So sharing my poetry is like the next best thing for me because it's something that I don't need to research and study up on. It's literally something within myself. Like I'm sharing a piece of my soul with you guys. And I've been writing poetry since I was in high school, realistically, but it was like really vulnerable, deep stuff, and the poetry that I was showing to others sometimes didn't get like the seriousness that I thought it would get, or it got criticized, or people didn't understand it. So I was just like, well, I'll just share this at the talent show or at this poetry event or an open mic. And then it's like I started sharing more and more and writing about things other than like being in love. Ugh. I say that because it's like I was never in love in high school. It was just crushes that I had. So now I'm like writing about who I am and like how I think, and it genuinely like takes the energy from me and removes it to be put on paper, and it helps me heal to write poetry. It truly does. And if you guys knew me in high school, you wouldn't recognize me. And I used to joke, but I don't say this anymore. But I used to joke that the version of me today would spit on that version of myself back then. I was looking for my water. So I used to say that too pretty often. But that's when I would get high all the time and was just not really transmuting the emotions. I was just suppressing myself a lot. So yeah, I'm kind of being called to ground more, to integrate more of the shadow aspects of myself, just like everyone else is right now, of course. But I choose to do the work through writing and sharing the way that I think. So yeah, back to the poetry. This is one I accidentally ripped out, honestly. But this is from 9/20, so September 20th. And again, no title. I came back because I know this time I would succeed. Remembering the details from before and taking heed, I walked through the flames, not the first to come out uncreased. Death doesn't hold me long either, miraculous, undeceased. Rose again as the sun does in the east. Conditional love only makes suffering increase. Bruised, fractured, shocked, still survived. Contained in different environments, yet thrived. The pain I had to uproot was very deep. The price of their love wasn't free, so it wasn't mine to keep. Blindly trusting, convincing action makes attention for admiration. Some time passed with lust, feeling a new sensation. Rumination, pondering why I detach quick, like abandoned ship. Time spent with a conscious, open mind is worth the trip. Projection, self-sabotage, confusion, vanity, heartbreak, frozen, unraveled, dancing with insanity. Kissed intensely, tempting choices, logic dismissed. It's hard to read on the paper. There's nothing behind it. Sorry, hold on. Let me start that over. Heartbreak, frozen, unraveled, dancing with insanity. Kissed intensely, tempting choices, logic dismissed. Attached to your heart space, my aura, reminisce. Remove the temptation, and discipline will quickly increase. A magical being doesn't worry about someone already spiritually deceased. I couldn't take myself out. Learned young, already tried. Jealous relationships, envious beings, all turned evil-eyed. Pride ruins or kills, and greed only destroys. All anger burns away as love quickly deploys. And, that was pretty recent. It was less than 2 weeks ago. But again, this is part of my soul coming out and being bared or shined. I was going to say being bared in the light, but shining in the light sounds better. Because, there's like a phrase like I'm bearing my soul to this person. It's kind of how it feels, but it's poetry. So this is like very vulnerable for me. Like I don't even show people this level of intimacy, and I haven't shared any of my recent poetry. Excuse me, since like March when I was doing open mics. Excuse me. So yeah, but I've never shared my poetry like in the relationships that I was in. Like none of them have ever read a single piece of my poetry. So yay, getting out of my comfort zone now. But this one, 25 minutes of me reading, wow, and being online, that's amazing. I'll pat myself on the back for that. Good job, Jazzy. So this one is from, the 23rd, September 23rd. And this one I actually wrote in, like, not the structuring of, but like, how do I word this? Let's just say inspired by. Oops. Somebody's digesting my dinner still. I don't know if you guys heard that growl or not, or that murmuring. Let me drink some more water. So yeah, this was on the 23rd of September, and it was inspired by the moon card from tarot. And if you're unfamiliar, the moon card in tarot is like representative of your emotions and your internal waters, because the moon controls water, and we are, at least 70% water. I believe between 60 to 70% water. So it's like, this is the deep waters of myself, and the hidden emotions, hidden feelings, the things that are, maybe even part of your shadow side, that would be considered like, something that you need to look into if you get the moon card in tarot, right? So here it is. I'm too blessed to feel the stagnant and repressed. I'm too blunt to act as shy now. Why do I question whether social media is the how? Deep waters never seem to stay still. Why have all my relationships tainted my own will? I never want to bite the hand that feeds, but struggle staying afloat with my emotional needs. I desire clear mind, stable community, and unconditional love. To know who is the true creator up above. When I intermingle with minds, I often get confused. I used to offer my body, but the exchange didn't bring me comfort. Feeling used. An anxious avoidant on many levels. They say after you face yourself, there are no more devils. But what do you do when you feel like you can't be your true self? When your willpower fails and you carry no wealth? They say the pen is mightier than the sword. Even though I write poetry and songs, I'm still socially bored. I already work behind the scenes, lights, camera, action, set, stage. For a highly intelligent, skilled being, monotony feels like a cage. A day of sunshine comes and goes. I have been so traumatized that friends and lovers turned into foes. I've been whooped and grabbed since I was 3, sexually harassed and abused by those that were supposed to be closest to me. Why does trauma have to impact us so hard? Why haven't I been able to build strong connections instead of those that leave me scarred? I have self-sabotaged so much that the criticisms have started to have some validity. Getting CPTSD and high-functioning autism from a mental injury. Too much time spent ruminating and stuck in survival. My mind hypervigilant, in need of renewing and revival. former crash out, self-medicated and numb, jobs and non-committal relationships chewed me up and spit me out like I was gum. My identity crisis over time turned to quiet BPD, solidified a toxic cycle with an ugly personality, being taught criticism in place of where I needed care, emotionally distant parents after divorce, no repair. I've never met anyone quite like me who reads people through and through, a skill learned from walking on eggshells and having to defend what was true. I didn't ask to be mishandled or hurt to my core. I know there are parts of me that I have yet to explore. The complex ego formed from webs of drama and deceit. A bitter, jaded adult where there used to be someone polite and sweet. I still have a kind heart. That's my one true advantage. It's stitched up and guarded. People cut through my previous bandage. I don't need any more lessons or tests around love. No conditions. I'd rather be alone romantically than have to keep making emotion-based decisions. When the brain clashes with the heart, your body starts to alert you to the harm. And if that goes on for too long, your spirit will ring a loud alarm. I answered the call, but now I'm starting over from scratch. Being bullied and neglected for so long makes it hard to view yourself as a catch. I know I have angels around me, so I know that I'm rare. They tell me not to give up and not to despair. I'm educated, experienced, and talented on paper. But deeper below my surface is a rather insecure nature. Be still, flowing waters. Nature creates the tide. Let the moon's gravity be your guide. So, if you listen closely, you could hear the symbology with the moon and the tarot card in your deep waters, with your internal deep waters. So this is a poem that I wrote yesterday. I was actually struggling to start it and scrolling online, but I was like, let me just listen to like a specific chakra clearing frequency, and it was from the heart and the solar plexus, but it had like certain angel numbers on it, and I was like, okay, let me just listen to this on loop. Excuse me. Let me just listen to this on loop and kind of like right again, my food's still digesting. I'm on a different type of diet because I'm fasting as well at the moment, but I wrote this, no title, but to just really kind of live with myself and be more honest, especially with my shadow side, and how sometimes I've let that dictate the way that I come across in relationships instead of being more balanced, taking a more balanced approach. Feeling so thirsty for love. Excuse me. And also I want to perform this at I want to perform this at my next open mic. The water is working, as you can hear. But yeah, this is no title. So this is on August 29th. You can see. Recording. My sharp tongue wounds me sometimes too. The people I hurt were triggered, knowing what I said was true. I cut you down to show your real size. Quit trying to blow smoke in my face. I see your disguise. Be innocent as a dove, wise as a serpent. I never gave up my divinity, not a low-ranking servant. Do not deceive or pretend you love me when you lie about your intentions. It's ugly. The pen is truly mightier than the sword. I detest those who break up harmonious accord. My cup will always run over, never once dry. So I truly don't care if we don't see eye to eye. You put walls up, then wondered why people disappear. You don't slay the dragon. You learn to tame it. It doesn't disappear. Grow up, find your real self, and mature. The more you go down the wrong path, the more your life feels like a blur. Don't try to give me your vision when I already see clearly. Ill-advised attacks only hurt you severely. Depart from me, I never knew you. Don't even send me a thought, it is not getting through. Discarded me after you couldn't have me physically. Why anyone would create a soul tie with someone they don't like sounds like a mystery. Don't let that brain rot in that big head. I could go into it further, but some things are better off unsaid. When I catch myself ruminating, I reflect. Why did I grow up viewing love as neglect? Now in the present, I turn away what attempts to dismay. When it comes to protecting my peace, I will slay. I don't focus on who devalues me. You can stay mad. I know I'm forever free. No family system, structure, or corrupted way of living. Those blinded by their shadow find life as hard as forgiving. I just take note, then play it by ear. Unless you use your third eye, stay out of my sphere. And that was the most recent poetry I wrote. If you listen to it and you were raised Christian, you plucked out some Bible verses from it. Be innocent as a dove and wise as a serpent is from Matthew chapter 10:16, specifically. So that also came to mind, was channeled as I was writing. But also the serpent is intelligence and wisdom, but also represents power. Confirmation. Just as a dove is representative of peace and holiness and new life, new signs of life. But a dove is seen as innocent, and oftentimes a serpent is seen as evil or cruel. So it's you have to balance those things, but also see the intelligence and the wisdom from the snake, from the kundalini rising, from the divine wisdom, right? That we carry inside of us. So that is, I think I read 5 pieces, actually. So I've been online for 40 minutes now. Let me just see. I believe 2 of them were from August. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, August 4th, August 15th, September 6th, September 23rd, September 20th, and then September 29th, so it was close. So yeah, that's really just how I feel about a lot of things that have been coming to the surface and purging recently. So yeah, this is my channeling, keeping track, poetry, songwriting, spiritual bath stuff, ideas, all of it just together here. But majority of it has gone to poetry. This is how much I've used. This is how much is left. And then I'm gonna show you where it divides with the poetry. Well, actually, some of this doesn't fully divide because when I was traveling, I wrote stuff specifically for the open mics in the areas that I was doing it. Like, for example, I went to Austin, Texas around what y'all would call spring break. And the South by Southwest was there around that time. I didn't like plan it for that. I didn't go to South by Southwest, but I went to the Vortex, and they had specific slots for musicians and specific slots for poets, and the slots for poets got filled up. So I was like, well, now I need to write as a musician or a rapper, which is why when I was explaining how I would stay up and write songs, it's basically poetry with a beat behind it, because that's literally what I did. I took something that I was gonna write as a poem and just did like snapping to create a rhythm, and then I just shared it like a cappella. It's very funny, but that's posted on my YouTube. So yeah, almost all of my open mics have been posted on my YouTube channel, except for the ones that I TikTok live stream, because I did not know that you have to have a certain amount of followers to access your live stream video footage, and also the footage is deleted 24 hours after, unless you have a certain amount of followers. So that was so sad, very sad for me to find out. I was just recording it for whoever was in the audience, basically. But yeah, I also was like brainstorming or writing things to just clear my energy as I'm like looking through this. So I then dedicated a journal specifically for my solar plexus. I'm sorry, sacral chakra, but it's an orange notebook. That's why I'm relating it. So, and then it has a yellow sticker with my name on it. So it's kind of like both solar plexus and sacral chakra, but it's like to release my power and release the willpower from where it was taken and call my power back to me. So that was my like version of transmuting things. Was like writing specifically in that notebook whenever something would happen that I felt like took my power or my energy, and to call it back. And then I started using my planner in this notebook specifically to like pick beats and write music with and poetry. And then when I finished the rough draft here, I would write the like revised version of it in my planner. So when I was trying to record music on my old phone as well before, and and that didn't pan out either. But I have two of my rough draft songs on my SoundCloud right now. Um, so yeah, but I'm thinking about sharing those two, like as the just poetry free form like now. Because my ultimate goal in life isn't to just be a musician, a star, person in the music industry. Like I could care less about fame or money. I just want to have the influence. I just want people to learn from like their spirit, to speak from their spirit, to be led by their spirit, and to just really learn how to transmute energy and become a better person. Um, because I've done that work myself. Done that work like I was sharing the other poems. Like I used to be a crash out. Used to, live my life with quiet BPD. I used to self-sabotage. I used to do all these things. And it was just coming from a place of trauma, coming from a place of repressing my own emotions, and then, snapping on that one person or overreacting in my relationship, or, that anxious avoidant attachment style that I spoke about. Just being anxious about something, making it a bigger deal than it in reality is, and not giving things time to like be communicated or settle. And I always wanted to confront things like in the moment or right after something happened. And that's not healthy either every single time. Like things are situational and very much so reliant on the context of where you are, who you're with, and the emotions that you're choosing to act on. Um, so yeah, and we all know that hurt people, but healed people heal others. So, and you guys also got the chance to hear all about my parents and kind of what the overarching view of how the relationship is. Feels like having a relationship with anxiety. At times, not to say I was never loved or cared for, but the majority of the time you feel anxious or afraid, or like you have to dim your light around someone that's not someone that you need to be investing in or focusing your time on, So it's kind of like I had to take a step back from my family even to do this level of healing and expressing and transmuting and alchemizing that I'm talking about in these poems. Let me see if I can share. So another poem before I say bye. It's been 48 minutes. Wow, that's amazing. But here's an example. Like this is the beat that I wrote to, like at the top. It's not a song. It's literally just an instrumental. I don't know how to not mirror the camera. Honestly, I don't know how to do that on YouTube. I was going live on TikTok more than here, so yeah, I think it's something in the settings before you start live, but yeah, so that was like an example, and then I put the timestamps like next to it, so when I was recording it, I didn't like forget the pacing or the next line, which is a lot. Like if you don't have like multiple devices, like a computer and a speaker and like something to look at your lyrics at, you're doing it all on one thing. It's very difficult to like keep focused and to not make noise to mess up the recording. So that's why I said I have two like drafts on my SoundCloud, but I don't have any of them anymore because The phone that I was using and was recording on basically stopped working. Um, like I'm saying, it was a technological error. It wasn't me breaking it or doing anything to the phone. And then I just decided to not get another phone um, at this time. And then a family member is allowing me to use their phone, so yeah. But I talk about that in another live anyway. And then this one, yeah, this one has more notes on it. Like this is the beat in the corner or the instrumental, and then it's like, oh, start here between this time frame and this time frame, and then I just wrote numbers and then the time section at the bottom because this one was like a more fast paced, like, oh, you have to like pay attention to the flow and your the way that you breathe. I was almost about to say breath work, but like um you know what I'm trying to say. Um, Breath control. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Fireside. Thank you. And then even here you can see like 124 and 129 pause. And so this is what I meant by I would write edits or like stuff like this, and then I would write the finished like result of the poem or the song into my planner. So I wouldn't get confused on like the pacing, just looking at this. So yeah, this is, well, that was from, let me see if that's the date on it. This is June 14th. And then I wrote to another one on June 27th. And the one before that didn't have a date. And then this one was July 7th. But this is just a poem. It's called Twisted Manifestations. I'll read this really quickly. Because I was like, wait, did I put it to a beat? But then I scratched it out on the top. So I didn't even use that beat. But I have a playlist on my YouTube that's like, it just is freestyle. And if I think a beat is good, or, I feel like I could channel easily to it, then I put it in there. It's good. But, almost drink this whole water bottle. Alright. So this is probably the last thing that I'll share from here. For the moment. Because I can't promise that I'm going to go live tomorrow, but for the moment, let's just say. Getting out of my comfort zone a lot. Sharing this is super vulnerable. Again, I hope no one listens to this and takes it and runs with it and says it's theirs. This is my intellectual property. Mine. Jazziel. Me. So this is called Twisted Manifestations. I think it's rather silly to say what once gave me glee fills me with dismay. Today I look to a politician, and what stared back was disgust. I thought my future was bright, and my adulthood would be purely robust. Upon reflection, I find myself reclusive and constantly needing to unwind. In times where I do interact with the public, I have to remember to be kind. Excuse me. Confirmation. I have to remember to be kind. You may find that statement shocking, but some know my pain. When a dumb person tries to argue with you, what do you gain? A headache. And what's crazier to me is the confidence level of men. You don't perceive the world accurately, yet get offended as if you were 10. Going back to your childish games, huffing and pouting, then regroup with your friends, insulting, whining, and doubting. Imagine a world full of loose cannons, a mentally ill mixture. Now zoom out of that image of humanity. and snap a picture. But did you notice who stuck out to you? The sellout soul, the perverted player, or the bully constantly mean? No virtue. How many years must we suffer and plead? We are all born creators. Why do we still need? Why does trauma morph us and change our nervous system? Why do we ever cast away love and turn our backs to wisdom? Blinded society, greed relations, turned everything for profit, twisted manifestations. So that one was called Twisted Manifestations. And again, these are like really good after I say them out loud, but obviously when you're writing, you're just like trying to think of words that rhyme but are also clever and not just like, for me, I honestly I don't view the poetry that doesn't rhyme as poetry. I know it still is, but it's like, I think it, unless it's like you're doing a slam poetry, like you're expressive and you use your body language with the poem, then that whole poetry flow, but things don't rhyme, you're just kind of like saying things as you observe, then that's fine. I see that more as like a dramatic storytelling than poetry. But the way that people weave words, as I've like, gone more online into poetry spaces and like gone to more open mics, I can respect it. But I think it takes more talent to actually write poetry with a certain amount of syllables and a certain amount of, storytelling, and having to rhyme it either every other sentence or like sentence by sentence rhyming. But there's, obviously different types of poetry, different types of people, like, different styles. Some like iambic pentameter, some like villanelles. Just depends on the person, really. So yeah, I need to go through this and also write a lot of my beliefs down. I've been like procrastinating it because I had these little note cards. Every time I got like a channeled message or heard something like really significant from a like general tarot reading, that would come across my page, but like this one was from a TikTok. Actually, this is a quote from Rena Divine Akashic on TikTok. And she has like a little pink and white flower next to her name, Reena, Rena Divine Akashic. And they said, love without respect will always break you. Respect is the root, love is the bloom. One can't survive without the other. So I thought that was really cool. And then like stuff I learned. So like the 7 principles of Kemet, or of Hermeticism, is truth, balance, order, harmony, reciprocity, propriety, and justice. And then this is from July 3rd. And yeah, this was when I was studying a lot of the stuff for my class, and the note cards and things that I made for the personal training certification. And it was that physical illness is a result of neglecting your mental health, mental illness, as they like to call it. but what I refer to as mental injuries. Mental illness is a result of neglecting emotional processing. Neglecting emotional health is from not listening to your higher self. If you live as the inner child, you will see where your work is carved out from your childhood trauma or your upbringing. When you look back at how you acted and felt and compare it to today, you will gain awareness. So just some of these things are really random, but it will make more sense when it's like all together on paper type of thing. So that is what I intend to do. And tomorrow is October 1st, I believe. So what better way other than cleaning your space, obviously, to bring in a new month. But geez, it's literally an hour and 1 minute as I look up on the timer. But I love you all so much. It is about to be time for people to go to sleep here. So thank you to those who liked the live, to those who commented, to those who, just joined or who are already following me. I appreciate it. And this is me being extremely vulnerable. So this is my work. This is my mind. This is my soul on paper in poetry. But I would definitely be sharing more later this week and into the weekend. So yeah, much love to you all in your journey, in your healing, in wherever you are at in life. But please don't focus on the outside and what's going on the outside. These things were written in the stars to happen. So there's nothing that we can do right now that will stop what is coming. We need to remain grounded and take the energy from ourselves and do something healthy to transmute it. We're not hurting people in this new earth that we are in. We're not harming people in this new earth that we are in. We are not trying to fragment or lie or disrupt anything within nature or the truth in this new earth. We are kind and vulnerable and loving. And let this be the example that you need. You can write about the most deepest, traumatizing, hard to talk about things in your life. You can do it. And if you need help getting started writing, just listen to some music. Listen to something that helps you, just go within your mind. Either, a meditative type of trance thing, like listening to someone play the piano or the harp, or just listening to a specific frequency like theta waves or 528 hertz, frequency of love and healing, self-healing, or again, just like an instrumental, and listen to it on loop and then write some poetry to it. But you never know when you will get inspired once you start doing so. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day whenever you're seeing this. And much love to you.